It is true that General Olusegun Obasanjo and Yar'Adua are internationally recognized and reputable individuals.
Correct.
Now, the case of General Ali Bhutto of Pakistan, do you remember anything concerning?
Of course, very well.
He was tried, convicted, and executed.
Correct.
He was a reputable individual as well.
Correct.
The case in Guinea of the former Secretary General of OAU, Diallo Telly, he was tried and executed.
Correct.
You remember a case in Ghana as well? General Achembong?
Yes.
Will I be correct to say that both internationally and within, there are sufficient precedents to warrant the full implementation of the law that was signed by General Olusegun Obasanjo himself?
Correct.
Please take a look at Exhibit 45.
What page?
You granted that interview. Did you anywhere state that General Obasanjo was set up in that coup? Anywhere there?
In this interview?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
I will be correct, therefore, to say that General Bamaiyi was simply calling for the law to take its course in the PRC meeting of 1990.
Very wrong. This is an interview that had time limit, and it was based on the questions I was asked, and I answered them.
It means you did not tell them all you knew or you know about the 1995 coup.
Of course, that is why when I came to give my evidence the other day, I said the other issues that I knew, including the loopholes, if you want me to repeat.
Yes, you can go ahead, please.
The loopholes I noticed in the investigation and trial of General Obasanjo and Shehu Yar'Adua entirely.
General, it is convenient for you to say so because General Abacha is no longer alive.
It is convenient for you to say this because you knew General Abacha is also not alive.
Yes, call him. Well, remind him he's still on his oath or affirmation.
On this episode, General Ibrahim Sabo, former Director of Military Intelligence during the Abacha government, is called to the witness box for cross-examination. In his previous testimonies over the course of the proceedings, General Sabo has made a lot of serious allegations against his former boss and Chief of Army Staff, General Ishaya Bamaiyi. Some of these allegations include fingering General Bamaiyi as the originator and mastermind behind the failed 1997 coup, among others, as will be seen in subsequent videos. Today, Sabo is being cross-examined by Barrister Y.C. Michael, counsel to General Bamaiyi. Barrister Yakubu Chonoko Michael is a Nigerian legal practitioner who distinguished himself by his countenance and superior arguments at the Oputa panel. He is currently the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association and a senior advocate of Nigeria. This proceeding was taped on the 6th of July 2001. Present at the tribunal is General Ishaya Bamaiyi and his wife, Mrs. Martha Bamaiyi, who sat beside her distraught husband all through the months of the sittings. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, you can drop us a comment and let us know where you're watching from, and we'll see you in the next video.
To present whatever he knows concerning allegations that have been brought forward to this commission. In the process, I would want to say with due respect that the fundamental right of my client to fair hearing has been impaired upon. My Lord, so far we have been faced with a situation where someone who has come before this commission as a witness, like any other person who are witnesses to this commission, would spring surprises to us in the sense that we'll be confronted, apart from the specific allegations by the clients, by the petitioners, respondents who have come to this commission to also answer indictment by petitioners have had causes to also indict us. We are saying, sir, that if there is any such respondent who knows of any violation of fundamental rights of any individual committed by my client, it is only fair that he reduces such allegations in writing, give it to us, and then we can now have the opportunity to equally respond. My Lord, my client informed me, and I have every reason to believe him, that as the only most senior officer in the Abacha regime presently in prison, that he is being punished by what is perceived to be the sins of the Abacha regime. And my Lord, my clients want to reinstate and reiterate that he served under General Abacha without any regrets, like he did under other commanders-in-chief. And my Lord, as a soldier who has committed to dying for this country, he has done so much to maintain the unity of this country. But my Lord, we are saying that just what the Constitution provides for this gentleman should be accorded to him, such that if any respondent has anything against him, rather than come here to spring surprises, they should put it down in writing, so that we can equally have adequate opportunity to respond. That is the plea that I have before the Commission, sir. Thank you very much.
Noted. Make a note of that. Yes.
General, sir.
I said noted, but I'm being asked to add that if any witness for any petitioner said something about a client, just make a note of it, let us know. We will recall that witness for you for cross-examination, if you so desire.
Yes, my Lord, sir. My only
No, it's an addendum. You make a note of anything that anybody says,
yes, my Lord,
which is not contained in DI's petition.
For instance, my Lord, the petition of Nzerebe, it was only here, throughout the reading of his petition, there was no mention of my
have we
client.
got copies of Nzerebe's petition?
So, my Lord...
no, don't worry, we will answer to all this. If you have, give him a copy.
Him already.
I see, good. Now let's continue with the cross-examination.
General, sir, I have watched you speak the truth according to your own definition before this honorable commission. And you did so under 3 platforms. I would refresh your memory. 1, you swore by the Quran to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. 2, you recall in our sitting in Lagos, you were influenced to speak even a better truth because it was a month of Ramadan. And thirdly, you brought before this honorable commission an oath you took as a young officer of the Nigerian Army. Yes.
I want to add also, my Lord, sorry, without cutting you off, that I'm also going to tell the truth today being Friday, a holy day.
Thank you very much. We now have 4 platforms upon which you are prepared to tell this commission the truth and nothing but the truth.
Correct.
General, sir, I would not use any of these platforms to cross-examine you. I will use the truth that is sharper than a two-edged sword, because that is a better truth. You joined the Nigerian Army and you were commissioned as an officer in 1972, correct?
I joined the army in 1970. I was commissioned in 1972 with ante-date, 6 April 1970.
Yes. Where was your first unit of posting, if I may ask?
My first unit of posting was the then 29 Battalion, no, wrong, 20, God. It's the battalion that later came to Boni Camp. I can't remember the nomenclature, but it was then at Umunato, 26 Battalion, in fact. 26 Infantry Battalion, Umunato, on the Umwahia Uzakule axis.
For how long did you serve in that unit?
I served in that unit for about a year before I proceeded to Young Officers Course in Jaji.
Yes. Thereafter, where did you go to?
Thereafter, I was posted to Nigerian Military Schools area.
Yes.
As senior instructor military.
Yes. Did you have cause to go back to the Nigerian Defense Academy under any capacity at all?
Of course, I was there initially as an instructor, a company commander,
Yes.
later on as the adjutant.
As the adjutant?
Yes, twice. In fact, I was the adjutant twice.
And do you remember if Major General Patrick Aziza ever served with you in the same Nigerian Defense Academy?
Of course, I took over from him as the substantive adjutant.
Yes. So you acted under him as an adjutant?
No. Whenever General Aziza went on official duty or on pass, he used to call me to officiate for him. But this time around, he passed his examination to Command and Staff College, first attempt, and went. So I was appointed the substantive adjutant.
Yes. Now, while in your stay at the Defense Academy, could you recall some of the courses that were being run by this academy? Having served as an instructor and later as an adjutant?
Of course, we have topics like fieldcraft and other things, tactics, man management, driving and maintenance, and so on and so forth. All gearing towards building an officer into the profession.
Yes. Was there any training that would acquaint you with the need to escape through the window or something?
Military
for any reason?
Military training is all encompassing.
Yes. Have you had cause to apply this military training in your stay in the academy? For any reason, to escape through the window such that you sustain some bruises and...
Well, if you tell me, maybe I will be able to, if you remind me, I'll be able to say yes or no.
Well, do you recall having scaled through the window for any reason?
I can't remember unless you refresh my memory.
Well, some gentlemen would come to refresh your memory later. You granted an interview to a newspaper where you stated, National Concord, Tribune, I guess, about a videotape of the 1995 PRC meeting.
Yes, my lord.
If you see a copy of that publication of the Tribune, would you be kind enough to identify it?
I will if it is the one.
I guess if you see the photograph of yourself, you'll be able to recognize yourself.
Well, photograph is not the truth. Like I showed you the other day, Tell magazine carrying my photograph. And that does not authenticate that I granted that interview.
Well, please take a look at that document. Could it be a copy of the publication of Tribune carrying the interview granted to them?
This was my interview.
Very well. My Lord, I seek to tender that in evidence.
Tribune of what date?
3rd December.
It's Tribune, isn't it? What date? Tribune of 5th March, 78. Exhibit 45.
Thank you, my lord.
Let's see, it is 78 or 98? I think I saw 78. What date? Publication. 3rd December 2000. Exhibit 45.
Much obliged, sir. Yes. General, the purpose of giving General Olusegun Obasanjo, sorry, President Olusegun Obasanjo, that tape was what? If you might tell this honorable commission why you chose to hand over the meeting of PRC where General I.R. Bamaiyi was calling for the execution of the coup convicts. Could you tell why you decided to give that tape?
It was my modest contribution for the sustenance of democracy, because at that time there were a lot of people going about press singing and doing all sorts of things, and also there are some people sabotaging the government ab initio. So it was my modest contribution for him to be aware that the people that may be romancing with him may indeed be the people who were against him, sort of.
Yes. Would I be correct to say that your stock in trade, while in service and after retirement, is to do everything possible within your means to be a pally or a paddy man, as you said, dear, called you, to any government of the day?
That is not true.
Tell us what the truth is, please.
The truth is, as I said in my testimony earlier on, loyalty is to an institution. And my loyalty is to whoever is at the head of that institution. If General Bamaiyi today is the president of this country, I owe it a duty to be loyal to him.
Thank you very much. In 1976, where were you? 1976,
I was in Kano.
You were with the army, I believe?
Of course, I hadn't broken my service.
Thank you. I am sure you are aware there was a coup in 1976 that led to the assassination of General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, may he so rest in peace.
Correct.
Yes. Could you name a few of those you know were involved in that coup?
Well, there are so many of them I know. Virtually,
please name a few of them.
General Bisala was there, Dimka
Yes.
was there, and the rest of them.
Do you know one Lieutenant Colonel Umar?
Of course, I know him very
Do
well.
you have any relationship with him?
Of course, we are married from the same family with him.
I see.
Go on.
What happened to them?
He was executed
Yes.
in that coup.
Thank you very much. And I guess too, in the year 1985, you were in the army.
Of course, I was.
You remember the coup that was designated Vasa coup?
I do very well.
Were you close to any of those that were involved in that coup?
Well, I had my coursemate there who was later on released and discharged. There were other seniors of me that I know.
Now, what happened, to your knowledge, to those who were found guilty and convicted?
They were executed,
Thank
and some went to jail.
Thank you. What about the year 1990? Was there anything?
There was an attempted coup
Yes.
by Oka,
Yes.
And that time, so that you don't call me to say where I was in Akwa Ibom. I was the CO 41 Battalion then, and the acting military governor of Akwa Ibom State.
Yes. What happened to those who were found guilty and convicted?
They were executed, there were jail terms, there were some that were not found guilty and were released.
Yes. Now, in 1976, who was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the
General
Federal
Sani
Republic?
Abacha late.
In 1976?
76, it was General
Don't
Murtala
get
initially.
confused, General. I'm just being
I'm
very
not
modest.
confused, my lord.
All right. Right on.
I thought you said 1996.
I know, I said 76.
Very good. Now I've heard you loud and clear. 76 was initially General Murtala Mohammed, then later on General Obasanjo.
Now, as a DMI or as one-time Director Military Intelligence, assuming as a junior officer in 76, you wouldn't know how laws were made, assuming. But having become subsequently the Director of Military Intelligence, did you perchance get to know under what law Dimka, Vasa, and Oka were executed, were tried and executed?
It was under a particular decree. I cannot remember, is it 105 or so? I can't remember exactly.
Yes.
That was promulgated
Yes.
at that time, then later on amended in another year. I don't have the details.
Yes, but in 76, it was General Obasanjo that signed that decree into law. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes. So in 1995, General Olusegun Obasanjo and Yar'Adua were tried and convicted for attempted coup. Am I correct?
Correct.
So it was their turn to die.
Well, God did not say so. That is why they are alive today.
By virtue of the provision of the law, it was their turn to be executed. Am I correct?
It was, the sentence was passed and the judgment was, it was commuted to prison term.
Yes, but as far as the law was concerned and taking into account precedents, it was their turn to be executed. You had 3 precedents already.
Yes, it is the law.
Yes. It is true that General Olusegun Obasanjo and Yar'Adua are internationally recognized and reputable individuals.
Correct.
Now, the case of General Ali Bhutto of Pakistan, do you remember anything concerning?
Of course, very well.
He was tried, convicted, and executed.
Correct.
He was a reputable individual as well.
Correct.
The case in Guinea of the former Secretary General of OAU, Diallo Telly, he was
Yes.
tried and executed.
Correct.
You remember a case in Ghana as well? General Achembong.
Yes.
Will I be correct to say that both internationally and within there are sufficient precedents to warrant the full implementation of the law that was signed by General Olusegun Obasanjo himself?
Correct.
Please take a look at Exhibit 45.
What page?
You granted that interview. Did you anywhere state that General Obasanjo was set up in that coup? Anywhere there?
In this interview?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
I will be correct, therefore, to say that General Bamaiyi was simply calling for the law to take its course in the PRC meeting of 1990.
Very wrong. This is an interview that had time limit, and it was based on the questions I was asked, and I answered them.
It means you did not tell them all you knew or you know about the 1995 coup.
Of course, that is why when I came to give my evidence the other day, I said the other issues that I knew, including the loopholes, if you want me to repeat.
Yes, you can go ahead, please.
The loopholes I noticed in the investigation and trial of General Obasanjo and Shehu Yar'Adua entirely.
General, it is convenient for you to say so because General Abacha is no longer alive.
It is convenient for you to say this because you knew General Abacha is also not alive.
Fair weather fellow. You have lived your military career in deceit. You have acted throughout your military career in a very deceitful manner. Sorry to say, but we have to bring this to the notice of the commission because we might soon discover that there is an Arewa model of Tokoya in you. So you lived a deceitful life during your military career, am I correct?
Deceit is relevant. If somebody deceives you and you are able to counter it, if that is what you mean, then go ahead.
Correct. Now, you have painted your picture as one who is very a man of integrity, somebody who calls a spade a spade. Am I correct?
I have not painted.
That is the truth about you.
My composure, my mien, my past records testify to that. I'm not the one.
Thank you very much. You would recall that while in service, a document was circulated concerning the person and the office of the Chief of Army Staff, who was then General I.R. Bamaiyi, and was alleged to be written by some unknown persons who called themselves concerned officers of the Nigerian Army.
Those unknown persons are now known, and I'm part of them. I said it in Lagos. I said it before the panel that investigated us, that I participated in the writing of that document. And the handwritten one, I originated it.
Thank you. Can you be generous enough to tell this Honorable Commission who the other unconcerned people are, so that the Commission will have the full benefit of knowing who they are?
I want to recall that you presented that document showing how we were all arrested, myself, Colonel Franco Menka, Colonel Olu, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, and other people that were not even connected with the write-up of that document.
Please, could you tell this Honorable Commission, those people or officers who were connected to that particular write-up?
I enumerated to you myself,
yes,
Colonel Omenka, Colonel Olu, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa.
Those were all.
Those were the ones.
Do you remember General Marwa as well?
That is why I said during my testimony that anything that has to do with arrest and detention of people, Marwa willy-nilly will be brought in. I said it during my testimony at the panel. Marwa was not privy to that write-up, and I still insist that he was not, because there was a calculated attempt to drag Marwa to obloquy and to the mud.
Thank you. All right, let's go back to the intelligence community. You headed one of the intelligence units as the DMI.
Correct, the Directorate of Military Intelligence.
There was also the NIA, am I correct?
Correct.
There was also the SSS.
Correct.
Could you be kind enough to tell, during the course of your stay as the DMI, who the DG SSS was at that
Peter Nwodua.
What about the DG NIA?
Ambassador Zachary Ibrahim.
Yes. Your responsibility was to collate information, collect, process, and disseminate.
Correct.
You were disseminating informations you collected and processed for the purpose of the national security and for the security of the person of the CNC Commander-in-Chief. Am I correct?
Correct.
And you had CDI who was AVM Idi Musa.
Correct.
I will be correct to say that whatever information that gets or got to the presidency, and I mean to say the villa, must be an information that came either from you, the DGSSS, or Ambassador
Zachary Ibrahim.
Zachary Ibrahim. Am I correct?
Not only that, there were other informations that were coming. No,
Yes,
we were not the only source.
So who were the other informants that you had?
There are some that I don't know.
Yes.
There is the office of the NSA,
Yes.
which also coordinates all the intelligence. That's why we have what we call the ICM, Intelligence Community Meeting.
Yes.
Then we have the JIB, which is the Joint Intelligence Board, comprising some paramilitary organizations also.
Yes, I'll be correct to say that Major Mustafa does not collect information. His responsibility was to secure the person of the CNC in the villa.
How do you secure the security of somebody without gathering information as to what is capable of damaging that security?
Would I be correct to say that Major Mustafa relies on information you bring to him for the purpose of securing the villa?
He is here. He will tell whether he relied or not. I'm not in his heart, but I discharge my duty.
Have you had cause to pass any information that was relevant for the security of this country and for the protection of the CNC to the Chief Security Officer of the late Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of this country?
Of course, Cerebral, it behoves on me to do that.
Yes. So, if you passed any information that was wrong, upon which Major Mustafa acted, you will be held responsible. Am I correct?
I haven't been held responsible for any.
If Major Mustafa acts on your information and it later turns out to be wrong, would you accept or deny responsibility?
If there was such, I would have answered you. There hadn't been such.
There hadn't been such?
Yes, he's here.
Thank you. Please, can I have exhibit Exhibit 30. You were fully in support of the self-succession bid of General Abacha.
What do you mean by support?
You did everything to make sure that you demonstrated your support.
I told you I wore the badge. If that is what you mean, so be it.
Yes, and anybody who never wore that badge was somebody who was against the self-succession of General Abacha.
There wasn't any occasion to show that anybody who refused to wear the badge was against. Major Mustafa did not wear the badge. Was he against General Abacha?
Yes. So you would have no reason whatsoever to chastise anyone who refused to wear that badge.
There was no reason, but I had reason also to chastise anybody who chastises anybody who wears it.
You can see how inconsistent you are.
I am very, very consistent, unless you prove me wrong.
You chastise, you paint people who refused to wear that badge in bad light to General Abacha as somebody who, or as people who are opposed to his own succession
You
bid.
are referring to that document. If we can bring that document, I'm ready to dissect it page by page. We wrote in that document that there was somebody who went to General Bamaiyi's office wearing the badge, and he chased him out.
Yes.
Telling him not to wear that kind of thing again.
Yes.
So that kind of thing to the head of state
Yes.
is verging on disloyalty.
See, was that all you stated in that letter?
I said the document is here. If you want us to go page by page, point by point, I am ready.
Yes. Did General Bamaiyi, in the presence of Idi Musa, the then CDI, had cause to call you concerning that document?
He did, yes, in
And
his office.
as the DMI, he tasked you to carry out investigation concerning the so-called anonymous officers.
Yes, he taxed me.
Yes. And you wrote a preliminary report.
Correct.
I'm sure if you see it, you can identify it. If you see the preliminary...
Yes, of course, if it is my report, I will.
Of course, it's your own. Please take a look at this document. Could it be the preliminary report that was written by the almighty DMI?
I am not almighty, only God is almighty.
All powerful.
This is the report. This is my signature.
My Lord, I seek to tender that document in evidence.
Market Exhibit 46.
Please read the contents of Exhibit 46.
Yes, I will. My Lord, predicated on the tasking General Bamaiyi gave me to investigate this matter, which I participated in writing, I sent this report to him. Preliminary assessment of the anonymous letter by the so-called concerned officers of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. The petition against Chief of Army, the petition against the Chief of Army Staff by anonymous group under the umbrella name of concerned officers of the Armed Forces of Nigeria is an unfortunate development which does not augur well for discipline and esprit de corps in the Armed Forces.
Sorry. General, please take it slowly. Don't be in a hurry. Nigerians would want to hear what you reported to your commander, to your Chief of Army Staff. Don't be in a hurry, please. Take your time and read it like you did with other documents.
But there is nobody complaining that he didn't hear me.
Well, I am the one cross-examining you.
Okay, I will read it slowly.
Thank you,
I
Doctor.
start again.
Thank you, Doctor.
Preliminary assessment of anonymous letter by the so-called concerned officers of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. Paragraph 1. The petition against Chief of Army Staff by an anonymous group under the umbrella of concerned officers of the Armed Forces of Nigeria is an unfortunate development which does not augur well for discipline and esprit de corps in the Armed Forces. There is no iota of doubt that the petition aims at destroying the person of the Chief of Army Staff and bringing into disrepute the institution he represents. The pervasive nature of the anonymous letter against senior officers of the armed forces has introduced a dangerous trend capable of compounding military issues with the attendant national security implication. The letter under review is a catalogue of issues raising the suspicion that it was the handwork of individuals or groups which benefited immensely from inside sources at the official and family levels. The veracity or otherwise of the numerous allegations is not the issue at this point. What is important is that an individual acting alone or in concert with others could circulate a written litany of perceived discontentments with the person and office of the Chief of Army Staff. While the multiplicity of issues raised in the letter may cast doubt on the possibility of its authorship solely by an individual, it is strongly suspected that major assistance might have been rendered by officers who are expected to maintain utmost confidentiality in the official transactions endorsed by the Chief of Army Staff. The breach of confidentiality in high places is in itself quite worrisome. It is even more worrisome that officers who could assist in creating scenarios aimed at establishing unsolicited linkages in the conduct of fellow officers. A worrisome as an artificial angle is stories relating to the private and family life of the Chief of Army Staff as contained in the letter and an uncomplimentary dimension in the issue. They point to the sophistication of the authors in achieving a total smearing of their target. The national security angle raised by the anonymous authors was designed to be the coup de grace in the efforts to neutralize the Chief of Army Staff.
Thank you.
The motives and strategy of the authors are condemnable from the standpoint of the well-being of Nigerian Army and the national stability. We are stepping up our efforts to unravel the brains behind this unwholesome development. In so doing, we crave for your assistance on information that will further cause of unraveling the perpetrators of this act. Signed, I, Sabo, Brigadier General, Director Military Intelligence.
The General himself.
Correct. I sign it. Go on.
At the time you wrote this letter, you lied to the Chief of Army Staff, correct?
Lying.
Did you lie or not?
I did not lie. I only wrote because I'm involved. I am coming, my lord. I am involved. You don't expect me to come out and not give such a write-up because he tasked me. I didn't volunteer. And the aim is to cover the source of this write-up.
As a man of integrity, who calls a spade, who looks at his coerce in the eyes to say, I will not carry your instruction, you wrote this letter knowing fully well that you were part of that particular document. You concealed your participation in it at the time you wrote this letter. Is that correct?
It is correct. It is a game plan, and you have to also play your own wit against the other man's wit. It is a game plan, as I told you, during that dispensation, there were a lot of intrigues, intra and intra. As a result, you have also to devise your own means to counter the other intrigues, and this is a classical example of it.
And the game plan, as clearly stated in this document, was to achieve a total smearing of the person and the office of the Chief of Army Staff.
As adduced in that write-up, but the actual underlying factor is what is contained in that document, and we'll go into it.
Well, Doctor, this is a document. The Commission would interpret it accordingly. Please take a look at Exhibit 30, which you said you didn't know who did it. Dr. Sabo.
I didn't say I don't know who did it. When? This one?
Look at Exhibit 30. It's Exhibit 30, not this one.
This is the one I was given. Activities of Major General Ishaya Bamaiyi.
Yes, please, could you turn to page 2 thereof?
Of this document?
Yes.
Yes, page 2.
The first sentence on that page starts...
Paragraph what?
The first sentence on that page...
Addressing these issues?
No, that is a conclusion of the sentence from the page 1. The first sentence starts with "we" also.
Yes, we also thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your adoption as the consensus candidate by all the political parties. God alone in his infinite mercy made this possible despite the campaign of calumny as exhibited by General Ishaya by course in shunning the use of your badge and indeed loathing any user of the same or civilian or military.
Please repeat it, repeat. Read that place again, slowly.
I say we thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your adoption as the consensus candidate by all the 5 political parties. God alone in his infinite mercy made this possible despite the campaign of calumny as exhibited by your cause in shunning the use of your badge and indeed loathing any user of the same, be he civilian or a military personnel.
So I will be correct to say by that paragraph that the refusal to wear the Abacha badge was a campaign of calumny by the COAS, by that document.
There is a preceding this thing or after that showed clearly, as I said.
Don't worry, I will take you through these places.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Because he has abused one civilian who went to the office, as I said, wearing the badge. That gave us the insight that he is showing his loathing for the users, be they military or civilians.
You can break that sentence into 2. 1, shunning the use of it,
yes,
and loathing any user.
Completely, I accept.
I am talking about his refusal to use it.
Let's
take it one by one.
Yes,
it was
I agree.
a campaign of calumny by
yes,
you.
Yes.
Thank you. General, sir, you can be so wickedly deceitful that you can accept to insult yourself in the process of smearing somebody.
It takes 2 to make a tango. I was so wickedly, so as to inject an antidote into the wickedness of your client.
Thank you. You made copies of those documents to even yourself, pretending that the anonymous people sent copy to DMI. Look at it, please look at it.
Of course, the aim had been achieved at that time by that distribution.
Please take a look at the distribution.
It is there, the distribution is there, I saw it.
Can you read the comment against DMI to the hearing of this commission and the entire world? Integrity, man.
Integrity is a matter of semantics.
Just read it. I'm not here to speak grammar with you.
DMI, under the copy. Shame to all of you for claiming to be security chiefs and yet fail to notice or report these issues of national security. If you have been reporting, this man would have been checked. You all must wake up or be condemned by posterity, lousy lots. I said it to all the other
you accept that you even called yourself a lousy lot.
In this document in order to cover the real actors, correct?
In that document, you also accused the humble COAS for having an illicit relationship with his brother's wife. Am I correct?
If he is humble, I did.
Yes. You had cause to also write a report concerning that issue.
Correct.
If you see that report, can you identify it?
I will.
Please take a look at this document.
This is my report and this is my writing.
My Lord, I seek to tender that report in evidence.
Exhibit 47.
Please read Exhibit 47 loud, clear, and slowly, General.
It will be brought to me, and I will, my lord. This is Exhibit 47, in which a response to the allegation by General Musa Bamaiyi against his brother, addressed to the head of State Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Additional comment on the feud between Bamaiyi family. Additional comments, which means earlier on there had been some comments. Since our last input on the subject matter, a number of other issues have served to relegate to the background the prominence which Bamaiyi feud promised to attract. Notwithstanding this respite, it is important that the matter be conclusively addressed with a view to putting the issue behind us. It is also desirable that any innocent key officials of this administration are not unduly aspersed and their names are not allowed to be brought to ridicule and obloquy. The Nigerian police have since carried out an exhaustive investigation into the allegation made against Major General Ishaya Bamaiyi by his older brother, Major General Musa Bamaiyi. These well-known allegations are potentially harmful to the person of the office of Major General Ishaya Bamaiyi if allowed to be sustained. Indeed, it portends equally catastrophic consequences for the image of the administration. From the investigation report personally signed by the Inspector General of Police himself, it is evident that the allegations are false, frivolous, malicious, and odious, and unfounded.
There is no frivolous there. Please take it again. From the...
Perfidious.
Yes.
That clearly absolves Major General Ishaya Bamaiyi of any wrongdoing and impropriety. With such a clear bill of health, the senior officer should feel proud to walk tall.
To walk tall. General, read it, carry the mic to your mouth.
To walk tall. I said it.
Yes.
However, remains the issue of the accuser, Major General Musa Bamaiyi. All evidence points to a less than satisfactory conduct by the senior officers. Prominent among these is the penchant for wife battering. Investigations show that Mrs. Ladi Bamaiyi escaped from home on 5 different occasions on account of the physical beating and torture received at the hands of her husband. This fact was corroborated by family members, including General Bamaiyi's father-in-law. A most undecorous trait exhibited by the senior officer was the constant tendency to subject his wife to such indignity as handcuffing and leg chaining her before physically assaulting her. In the words of the IGP, she was a victim of constant physical aggression, violence, and matrimonial negligence. On a number of occasions, the NDLA boss threatened his wife and other family members with his pistol. He did it on his wife several times, while he did so to his lawyer, brother, that lady, on at least one occasion. Viewed against this personal background, it is safe to conclude that the general has never really been able to demonstrate the required discretion in the handling of a weapon, personal weapon rather. Other than this, his brash, rough, and tumble approach to issues is very indecorous and unbecoming of an officer of his status and high responsibility. The officer is also displayed as palpable lack of control of his temperament and emotions. He is not only a wife batterer, but even took the unglorious and pitiable decision of dispossessing his mother of her sleeping bed and throwing her out of a house built for her by his younger brother, Major General Ishaya, simply because the house was built on his Musa's plot of the land. A number of efforts have been made by well-meaning personalities and kinsmen to amicably resolve the issue. On each occasion, General Musa Bamaiyi had always been the impediment of peace resolution, and yet a path of reconciliation would be the best in this matter. Sibling rivalry must not be allowed to distract the administration of from this goal. Similarly, disrespect to the office of the Chief of Army Staff must not be condoned, even if it is done by the sibling of the incumbent, more so a sibling that is serving any officer. Recommendations. In view of the foregoing, it is important that the matter be dealt with as expeditiously, as smoothly as possible. It is for this reason that we recommend the following. A, relieving Major Musa Bamaiyi of his appointment forthwith, prescribe psychiatric management for Major Bamaiyi, advise Major Ishaya Bamaiyi to continue to exhibit the sense of maturity he is currently showing, a feat which his senior brother is seriously allergic to, retire Major Musa Bamaiyi from service no longer required, making absolutely sure that the action coincides with the routine and retirement exercise for a forestalled curiosity. Proper decreeing of Major Musa Bamaiyi to forestall any withholding of arms and ammunition, General, which is currently illegally holding.
General, sir, please, you were running over this thing, because it is important. You sat in that same witness box and professed integrity, boldness. It is important that what you did in the same position as the Director of Military Intelligence, vis-a-vis your Chief of Army Staff, and false allegations you made against him, your own investigation be heard by the same public. You were saying all the allegations against him loudly. So please be kind enough and modest, like you have alleged you are, to read those recommendations, please.
But I have read them.
Please read them with the mic close to your mouth for the entire public and the world to hear.
A, relieving Major General Musa Bamaiyi of his appointment forthwith.
Yes.
B, prescribing psychiatric management for Major Musa Bamaiyi.
Yes.
C, advise Major Ishaya Bamaiyi to continue to exhibit the sense of maturity he is currently showing, a feat which his senior brother is seriously allergic to.
Yes.
Retiring Major Musa Bamaiyi for service no longer required, making absolute sure that the action coincides with routine any retirement exercise to forestall curiosity.
Yes.
Proper decreeing of Major Musa Bamaiyi to forestall any withholding of arms and ammunition which he is currently illegally holding and which he could use for vendetta if not retrieved.
Thank you very much, General. General, sir, you did this in your position as the DMI.
Correct.
Do you still maintain your position that you are a man of integrity, General?
I do.
Thank you very much. Now, in February 1998, you were still doubting the loyalty of General I.R. Bamaiyi to the Commander-in-Chief from the gamut of evidence.
Correct.
I would be correct to say that there was a meeting summoned by the National Security Advisor, the tripod agencies with the CDI on top at the apex, where the issue of the loyalty of General I.R. Bamaiyi was raised. Am I correct?
Did you say National Security Advisor?
Yes.
If there is National Security Advisor, then the apex is not CDI.
Oh, I see. No, I mean, you described the three agencies
Yes.
as being headed by the CDI.
Correct.
I am saying that at that meeting, it was summoned by the NSA, Ismail Gwarzo, and yourself, the DG SSS, the DG NIA, and the CDI were present, where the loyalty of General I.R. Bamaiyi to the then CNC was discussed.
There were so many meetings of the intelligence community meeting that we held.
Yes.
I cannot recall. Maybe if you have the documents you show me, then I will be able to answer you.
Yes. But was there any time you discussed with any of such persons?
Of course, it was not only the DMI, the CDI office, or the NSS office that had been worried about certain idiosyncrasies of General Bamaiyi.
Yes. Now, you came before this honorable tribunal.
Commission, please.
Commission.
Yes.
Thank you, General. And told the tribunal that you were going to say the truth.
I told the commission that I was going to say the truth.
Are you sure, General?
Commission.
Are you sure, General, that you have not been economical with the truth that you know concerning General I.R. Bamaiyi?
Unless you point out to me, I'm still on my point stand.
You still maintain that you have said all that you know concerning General I.R. Bamaiyi vis-a-vis his loyalty to the then CNC as per the Dear coup, which you designated to be Dear Bamaiyi coup.
It's unending. If we are to talk about Bamaiyi, it will take us months. The commission will wind up, and we have not gone far.
Okay, my Lord. My Lord, I seek to tender a diskette in evidence. And I came with my laptop and a mini printer. I would like the contents of it to be printed for the benefit of the commission. My Lord, a diskette with the inscription chameleon. I seek to tender in evidence.
Can you print it out? I hope you allow us to print it out.
Oh, very well, my Lord, very well. I would be pleased if the contents of that diskette is read to the Honorable Commission and the entire world.
Diskette is 48.
Thank you, my Lord.
The printout will be 48A. Can you do it right now? Print it out right now. It's gone. Yes. Are you waiting for the printer?
Well, my Lord, before then, please,
go on.
I would go on, yes. So many of them to do. Could you pass a sheet of paper to my dear General?
I have a sheet of paper.
A plain sheet of paper from the Commission. Don't worry, sir. I don't trust DMIs. clean paper, sir.
Well, apparently from my eyes, yes.
I know a DMI will say so. Please, do you have a pen there with you?
I do.
Yes. Could you, on that plain sheet of paper, write that I ask or I suggest that Dear Ku be redesignated to be Dear Bamaiyi Ku?
I've said it. Why do you want me to put it in writing?
Please, could you write so?
I will say so. I suggest that General Diaz Ku be redesignated Dear Bamaiyi Ku.
Can you write the word camouflage on that piece of paper?
Camouflage is camouflage. Everybody knows. I don't need to write. I don't know the intention of whether you want to get again my handwriting to perpetrate another evil. I will not.
Oh, no. No other microphone. My Lord, and the honorable members of the commission, I think cross-examination should be restricted to a question and answer session in most cases.
Restricted to?
To a question and answer session. If my learned friend wants him to write, he should lay a foundation, since the witness doesn't want to write. But if my learned friend wants to write it, he can write it and give the witness to read. But I don't think he should be subjected to writing and writing. I think it is, this is
I don't know of any rule that a cross-examiner cannot ask a witness to write something down.
What is the purpose, my lord?
There's no rule against that.
Yeah, but what is the purpose? There has to be a foundation.
Suppose he wants to test the handwriting.
He should say so.
And to come. Well,
he should say so.
This is a question for address, not for objection.
No, my lord.
If he wants to test the credibility of a witness's handwriting and say, write so word for me. After writing, he shows him something he has written before for comparison. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, this is your lordship's own impression, but that my learned friend hasn't laid that foundation.
Furthermore, this is fact-finding commission. Rules of evidence don't apply here at all.
That I concede.
They don't. So, if what he's asking will help us to find the facts.
Well, very well.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Let him go on writing.
But during your address, yes, you can take that up.
My learned friend can go on writing.
Yes, go on, please.
It's written.
You testified before this honorable court that you had cause to change your signature.
Correct.
Now, I want you to look at Exhibit 46. Please hand over Exhibit 46 to the witness.
I've had a printout. You want to see it?
Yes, my lord, let me be through with this.
48. So mark this Exhibit 48A and then give it to counsel. They want him to read it?
Yes, my lord.
All right. Mark it Exhibit 48A.
But my lord, before he reads it, I want him to look at Exhibit 46. I want him to do something on the plain sheet of paper I gave to him. Yes, you signed
what
that
about
document.
the one he wrote before? You don't want to tender that one?
No, sir, I will take it one by one, sir. That is,
all right.
Yes. Please, could you sign that document?
I said it, that
Yes,
is why
please,
I even read it.
could you repeat that same signature on that piece of paper? It's the property of the commission.
I hope this time around, the paper, when I write, it will be
It will be
retrieved.
tendered to the commission. You can be rest assured.
Where I wrote the camouflage?
Camouflage, and then sign under. Sign you anywhere on that paper. No, anywhere on that piece of paper.
I'm not going to sign under camouflage because my name is not camouflage.
Sign anywhere. You can sign at the other side of it. Yes. My Lord, I seek to tender that piece of paper in evidence.
Take this back.
Please give Exhibit 48A to the witness.
Piece of paper written by witness in the box, tendered and admitted Exhibit 49.
The court, please. My Lord, please. Can you read the contents of that exhibit, please?
I will not read it because I'm not the author.
Well, let me read it. I'll read it here.
It doesn't matter who is the author. It didn't say you are the author. He said read it. That's
My Lord, he tendered it, and I will want to crave the indulgence of the commission for him to read it.
He's running away from the truth.
Read it. I think
I'll read it.
there's nothing wrong with asking a witness to read anything.
General, please let's make progress. You know, sir.
If he doesn't read, you can read it yourself.
Okay.
Read it yourself.
My Lord, this is the content of the diskette marked Exhibit 48.
48A.
Yes, 48A. It goes, my Lord. The National Security Advisor to the HOSC summoned us, the DMI, DGNIA, DGSSO, and the CDI for an emergency meeting. The meeting which took place today, 4th February 1998, at the NSA's office, State House, Abuja, at 10 a.m., where a motion was moved by Alhaji Ismail Agwarzo, MNI, NSA, and seconded by Ambassador Z.Y. Ibrahim, MNI, DGNIA, in which the NSA said he had consultations with General Oladipo Diya and Major General Tajuddin Olarewaju, and he is fully convinced that Lieutenant General Ishaya Bamaiyi, the COAS, was aware of the General Diya-led coup, that in fact he was part of all the plot to topple the HOSC administration, so he is in doubt of the COAS loyalty to the HOSC. At this point, the DGNIA said that for quite some time he has been in doubt of the COAS, the Chief of Army Staff, loyalty to the HOSC, and he is also in serious doubt of the loyalty of Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi. Then the NSA suggested that we meet the HOSC in person and give him, or rather advise him on these recommendations. 1, the arrest and detention of the Chief of Army Staff, so he will be charged to face the Special Military Tribunal, SMT, as he is now a threat to this administration for his being involved in the aborted coup. 2, for Major General B.S. Magashi to be dismissed from the army and be put under house arrest for some time. I'm sure you didn't disclose this to General Magashi. 3, the NSA promised to book an appointment with the HOSC so that we can give him our recommendations. The NSA promised to get in touch with us individually to let us know when we are to meet the HOSC, and for now, all agencies involved in this meeting should take action. I.A. Sabo, Brigadier General, DMI. Unsigned. It's the content of the diskette. Do you recall having such a meeting?
This is a calculated attempt by you to insinuate that I don't have a diskette. I am computer illiterate. How did you come about by this diskette?
Well, my lord, at the appropriate time, we would argue whether or not the diskette belongs to you.
Very well.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say, Idi Musa
Do you
is here.
remember having such a meeting?
There is never such a meeting,
Thank you.
as far as I'm
I
concerned.
put it to you that on the date, 4th of February 1998, you had this meeting with the personalities mentioned in that letter. I am putting it to you.
And I reply to you that I am not aware of this meeting.
And I put it to you that subsequent to this meeting, the NSA booked an appointment with the CNC, and you went to meet the CNC on the 25th of February 1998. I am putting it to you.
And I reply to you there was no such thing.
My lord, I seek to tender yet another diskette.
Go on. I'm not worried at all about this case. Yes, go on.
Second diskette is exhibit 50, printout 50A.
My lord, please.
Bring out the printout.
Yes, my lord, the last has not been heard about Diaku.
Truly, it has not been heard, and it will be heard, inshallah.
The last has not been heard.
Are we waiting for the printout? Are we waiting for the printout?
Yes, my lord.
All right.
Want to give it to
My lord, let me just continue before the printing.
How many copies?
There are many. Now, General, would you like to read it yourself or I should help you?
Read it yourself. I'm not the author.
My Lord, Exhibit 50A goes thus. We met with the head of state, C&C, today, the 25th of February 1998, in respect of an appointment by the National Security Advisor, Alhaji Ismail Agwarzo, MNI. Those present, the HOS, C&C, the NSA, CDI, DGNIA, and the DMI. The NSA told the HOS, C&C about the meeting we had some couple of days back, in which we are doubting the loyalty of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ishaya Bamaiyi. We discussed about what Generals Adisa and Olarewaju told the NSA and what the DGNIA said about Magashi's involvement in the General Dia-led coup. After we narrated the whole issue to the HOSC&C, the HOSC&C now said to us, and I quote, "Gentlemen, I know what you don't know, and I am sure, and I assure you that General Bamaiyi has nothing to do with General Diaz-led coup, and I am very confident about his loyalty. Like I said earlier, I know what you don't know. You see, General Dia and his friends want to carry as much as they can down with them. Because they know they are going down, Dia and his friends wanted to assassinate a lot of us, including Bamaiyi. Allah didn't give them the chance. So they now want to create some sort of tension between us by bringing these issues. If they don't succeed in killing us, okay, let them succeed in destroying us by creating confusion within us. Gentlemen, I believe both Generals Bamaiyi and Magashi are clean. And once again, I am sure of their loyalty, and I assure you of their loyalty. Thank you all for your loyalty and concern. Brigadier General I.A. Sabo, unsigned." I repeat that your stock in trade is to go about to and fro Nigeria looking for people to bring them at a loggerhead. That was your stock in trade.
I reject that insinuation in totality.
I repeat, your stock in trade during your service in the military, most of all as DMI, and even after your retirement, you are moving to and fro Nigeria looking for people whose herd you should bring together.
I repeat myself that that is false.
I put it to you that your testimony before this tribunal, before this commission, is intended to endear you to the government of the day.
What is wrong with endearing me with the government of the day?
When you have to lie, do you have to lie to do so?
It's not intended. I told you loyalty is institutionalized, and whoever is at the head of that institution, loyalty will be given to him. So don't bring the predicament of your client to whip sentiments.
General, is it allowed to lie in order to get yourself endeared in the heart of someone?
It is not allowed. I didn't lie to get myself endeared with the government, but I told the truth in my evidence in order that the whole world will know what transpired.
But General, you didn't tell this honorable commission the entire truth.
The commission is in a better place to know whether I've said the truth or not.
Thank you. Please take a look at page 5 of Exhibit 30. Exhibit 30. Pass Exhibit 30 to the witness.
Page what? My Lord.
5. Page 5. From the last, there is a sentence that began on the last footing of that page with "on entering."
On entering the office and seeing the man with the CNC's badge, the coerce reportedly backed out. Don't come to my office with this thing pointing at the badge, adding, "I'm not a politician." After this, the auctioneer vowed never to go back to the coerce office and so forfeited his money.
Please go to page 7. You did the same for General IBB. You went trying to bring them at loggerheads with General Abacha. Take a look at page 7.
Yes, my Lord.
If you go down, penultimate paragraph, where it starts with, "It will be recalled that Mike Adenuga," please could you start reading from there? Page 7.
It will be recalled that Mike Adenuga is an IBB boy. Indeed, the course was seen recently discussing with General Babangida along Mina Road. Equally seen robbing mines with IBB was Mike Adenuga. There is therefore no doubt that the Chief Adenuga is the go-between the course and General Babangida. Can I continue?
Yes, continue.
Knowing General Babangida for what he certainly will not want the present administration to succeed. Would you succeed where, why should you succeed where he has failed? Do you need an answer?
You said so to General Abacha concerning General Babangida.
Let it be on record. This document is not me alone that wrote it. I said it up initial. I contributed to the writing of these documents. Not every point that has been said here that I am the author.
Now, did you tell Babangida that such a thing was said concerning him to General Abacha? You. If you were not the one who said this, did you, in your visits to Mina, to pay compliments to the former Commander-in-Chief, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have you ever told him that I know of someone who was alleged that you were seen having a meeting with General Bamaiyi along Mina Road, and that matter has been reported to General Abacha? Were you honest and sincere enough to have told him in any of your visits?
I told him.
You did?
Yes.
You told him the particular person?
I did.
Thank you.
Yes.
Look at page 8. You also wanted to bring religious problem between the coerce, between the Chief of Army Staff and General Abacha. An officer gentleman like you ought not to have done that, or ought not to be a party to it. You wanted to bring religious problem. You started, "It is therefore no strange coincidence that the coerce and his entourage caused a pandemonium during prayers to mark the Eid el-Kabir celebrations in Abuja, at which the CEC was in attendance when he defied protocol on Tuesday, 7 April 98, and drove through the praying ground with full blast of siren in total disregard for the solemn occasion. It is more disturbing that this occurred at the time the Imam was delivering a sermon on the need for religious tolerance and mutual understanding. Yet, this was a man present at the meeting the Pope held with Muslim leaders in the country on the same subject only 2 weeks earlier. Additionally, though in Abuja on that day, the Chief of Army Staff refused to pay traditional Salah homage to the CNC. These were what you were telling.
These things happen, and anybody who knows General Ishaya Bamaiyi knows that he has penchant and pathological hatred for Islam. I have some points to show for that as we go along. And this actually happened. I was not here in Abuja during the Ramadan. I went to Jos with my family. Like I said in my earlier testimony that my children were crying for me to take them home, and I did. But this is a report that came, and the writing team of this paper encapsulated it into this. And that is the truth. There are witnesses that will come and testify that Bamaiyi blared through and cause care during the Salah. And that is a fact. And if you want further, I can give you another example whereby he deprived a sergeant of his salary for 6 months, merely because that sergeant was attached to the Imam Directorate in Boni Camp, and he was able to get through some philanthropic human beings some money to renovate the mosque at Boni Camp. Because a request went to General Bamaiyi to that effect, he refused. And this boy got the mosque renovated, and then General Bamaiyi descended so low from being the chief of army staff to start quarreling with a sergeant. And he went further to cause the posting of that sergeant, and when it was not done, he stopped his salary. I want General Said, who was then the military secretary army, to be brought to testify to this point. There are pointers. So all that is being said about Bamaiyi are not without pointers. When you told me that I'm a chameleon or what and what, I had to play along with him so that he doesn't turn to vent his venoms against me like he has been doing to other people.
I see.
That is the import of my write-up, and that letter I wrote to the CNC is dummy. I didn't forward it to him. There was no copy to Bamaiyi. I only showed it to Bamaiyi to tell him that I have carried out his instruction. He gave me all the details about the police report which the IG gave him, and he told me to write about this issue.
Yes. Thank you very much for lying to the Chief of Army Staff. That much you have admitted.
I am on oath, you are not.
Now,
if I'm lying, it's between me and my God.
Yes.
I said it, I accept responsibility,
General,
but I was playing along with him too.
General, sir, I said it is because of the personalities like you bringing information of all sorts to the villa that caused the smearing of the name of Major Mustafa. You must agree with me.
My Lord, I want a census to be conducted into the barracks.
You people endangered the life of that young man, young intelligent officer, because of informations you are bringing to the villa.
Bamaiyi endangered his life.
You should apologize.
Bamaiyi endangered his life. He called him to come so that he could be assassinated. And there are a lot of other evidence to show that Bamaiyi was against him.
Now, you were arrested on account of that Exhibit 30.
Not at all. It's not on this account.
Were you ever tried with respect to Exhibit 30?
Exhibit 30 came as an auxiliary to the main issue, and that is the document I handwrote in retirement.
Were you tried with respect to Exhibit 30?
I was not tried, I was investigated.
Very well. Now, at the investigation, you asserted that the contents of that document was made as an instruction by the CNC in order to serve as a diversionary tactic to the move by General Bamaiyi to scuttle the self-succession bid of General Abacha.
It was not the topic because of the signpost that Bamaiyi was still planning a coup, and General Abacha told us to write this document so as to divert his attention towards his image repair, because he said that he did not want to change the Chief of Army Staff. He had already changed 3 Chiefs of Army Staff, and the transition is drawing to an end that he could be managed.
Do you know why those chiefs were changed?
But they were changed.
Do you know why they were changed?
Whatever the case, they were changed.
My Lord, I seek to tender the report of the Special Investigation Panel that investigated General Sabo on, among other things, on Exhibit 30.
This document, I have not been able to see it. I'm just seeing it now, and it is marked secret, classified secret. Part of the reason why we were arrested is that we were holding sensitive
Witness, hold it.
documents.
Let's finish. You say you want to tender this.
Yes, my lord. And my lord, from the report,
Exhibit
if there
51.
yes, my lord.
Exhibit
There are
51.
other tapes that my lord could call for if there is any need for doing
So
so.
let them mark it. After that, then they can use it for any purpose they want to. Exhibit 51. No. 51. 50 diskette. 51A is printout. Yes?
General, sir, when did you disclose to General IBB of that fact?
You mentioned rightly that during one of my visits to Mina, and I know how you got the information, that lady Bamaiyi met me in Mina one day.
Was it when you told General IBB?
That was not the time.
I'm asking you, when did you tell General IBB?
I had paid several visits to Mina.
Can you tell us approximately the time when you told him about that, that move?
I cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot remember.
Thank you. Can I have exhibit 29? Please, General, could you read to the hearing of this commission?
Is it my writing?
Paragraph C of Exhibit 29.
Is it my writing?
When you look at it, you know.
This is not my writing, and I still stand by my stand, fundamental human right not to read what I did not originate. You can read it.
Give it to counsel to read.
Paragraph C, my lord, of Exhibit 29. The inciting publication titled Activities of Major General Ishaya Bamaiyi, Chief of Army Staff, that are inimical to this administration and Nigerian Army image, was written and circulated by 4 suspects. However, Brigadier General Sabo, retired, Major Al-Mustafa, independently asserted that the document was a directive from the head of state, C&C, as diversionary tactics to preoccupy the Chief of Army Staff with the defense of his tarnished image. Colonel M.B. Marwa was privy to this project, and in a meeting with Brigadier General I.A. Sabo, retired, Colonel K.J. Olu and Colonel F.O. Obenka, retired, in Ikoyi, Lagos, contributed information that could portray the Chief of Army Staff in bad light in the public eye. Did you make this assertion before that panel, that it was intended to serve as a diversionary tactic?
This is the panel report. As I said, I have not seen it.
Yes.
I am now seeing it.
Yes, but did
What
you
I said
make
to the
such an
panel
assertion?
It's not 100% correct.
So how much of it is correct?
No barometer to gauge, but I can tell you what I have said.
So tell the commission what you said.
What I said was that this write-up was being directed by the late C&C to be written so that General Bamaiyi will be preoccupied. It's diversionary. And by diversionary, even in military parlance, when you make a diversionary attack towards an angle, it does not mean that you will carry blank rounds. You have to carry the real life rounds so that if it needs be, it can turn into real. So diversionary in this context has the capability and ingredients of truth.
Now, was it General Abacha that in fact gave you that instruction?
I am a Muslim. I will not tell lie against the dead. If I can tell the truth against about the living, how can I go and start telling lies against the dead?
I am only asking you.
I'm only answering.
Was it General Abacha that gave you that instruction?
Correct. He was.
General Abacha did.
He did.
Now, among other things was the fact that on the fourth day of May 1998, there was a meeting on the state of the nation. Are you aware of that meeting?
May 19 what?
4th day of May 1998.
4th day, May 1998. If I see the document, I will know whether I was there or not.
Yes. Can you let me give the witness exhibit 26?
I'm in possession, my lord.
Please, I want you to read item 1.
Read it for me, my lord. It's not my document.
Are you aware of the meeting which gave rise to this report?
Maybe if you read it, I'll be able to say yes or no.
Item 1, sir. The chairman declared the meeting open at 13:55 hours, stating that the aim was to deliberate on important national security issues. He adjudged the general security situation in the country as satisfactory, adding that the administration should be congratulated for the successful conduct of the just concluded National Assembly elections. The chairman said further that the unanimous adoption of the HOS C by the 5 political parties as a consensus candidate in the forthcoming presidential elections was most welcomed. He said the military could be said to be favorably disposed to the development. He mentioned briefly the SMT verdict and was awaiting PRC deliberations, and concluded his opening remarks by imploring all present on the need to remain vigilant in parapsychologists in the country.
No, my lord, it's not parapsychology.
In view of recent forecast of doom by some parapsychologists in the country, he then declared the floor open for deliberations. Item 2, overview of the state of the nation. The military. A number of current security reports on the military were reviewed. These were deliberated upon under various subheadings. A, the Chief of Army Staff. Almost all security reports showed that Chief of Army Staff may be working in tandem with the U.S. Embassy in Lagos and the other anti-government elements, notably NADECO. The reports show that the U.S. Chief of Army Staff plan was for the opposition to create chaos in the country in order to bring about an enabling environment for the army to move in. Part of the plan, reportedly, was to reenact the Brigadier General Mada biotype Sierra Leonean scenario in Nigeria, the opposition believe that they believe what they termed the inordinate ambition of the Chief of Army Staff was enough guarantee for their reliance on him. It was observed that the Chief of Army Staff had been pushing for the release of his proposed NA postings, including some controversial proposals that had been earlier disapproved by the CNC. It was also revealed that the Chief of Army Staff had been sizing up GOCs on the recent adoption of the HOS CNC by the political parties as a consensus candidate. It was further stated that a form of conscientization of other service chiefs by the Chief of Army Staff was on, as the latter had reportedly told the CNS and the CAS not to come to Abuja any longer unless the CNC sent for them. Members were of the opinion that the Chief of Army Staff issue needed closer attention and that time was of the essence. Do you remember participating in a meeting where this was discussed?
Correct. It was headed by AVM Idi Musa. He was the chairman.
Do you remember others who took part in this particular meeting?
If I can remember few, I don't know. The CDI was there, AVM Idi Musa. I was there. General Ibrahim Sabo retired. I think Colonel Omenka was there. General Maazu was there. Major Hamza Al-Mustafa was there. Colonel Olu was there. I can't remember the rest.
Yes. Do you remember if Colonel Shuaibu was there as well?
Colonel Shaibu was in one of the meetings. I don't know whether it was this particular one.
What about Colonel Marwa, now Brigadier General Marwa? Do you remember if he was at that meeting?
Like I say, it has taken a long time and there was a series of such meetings. I cannot categorically say yes or no, unless I am refreshed.
Yes. Now, during the 1997 coup, you received a message allegedly from the Chief of Army Staff through a colleague who was also a Brigadier General. Am I correct?
What message?
You said General Bamaiyi was looking for you frantically, and that message got to you through the Provost Marshal.
Correct.
And he was also a Brigadier General.
Correct.
Like yourself.
Correct.
Yes. And he passed on the message to you, and you now got in touch with General Bamaiyi.
Correct.
And General Bamaiyi, according to you, asked you to get Rogers to torture General Dia.
Correct.
Why do you think that such instructions, if any, was not given to your fellow Brigadier General?
It was not given to him because, first of all, he was in the SIP. He was a member of the SIP. Secondly, he was not in charge of the security. Mormoni testified here. Mormoni is of the DMI. He was also charged with the responsibility of the security in the in the prison. So General Abubakar couldn't have been given that instruction.
Yes. Now, having listened to the testimony of Mormoni, do you still stand your position that General Dia was tortured?
General Dia was tortured. There is no doubt. Because Mormoni wouldn't know. It's not every time Mormoni was there. General Dia was tortured. There is no doubt about that.
Now, you testified also that you knew what Rogers wanted to do in Lagos when he was asking for Dia. How were you in a position to know?
I said it when my counsel asked me. I say maybe he was trying to apologize. As much as I know, you can recall the transcript. I say as much as I can remember, maybe he was trying to apologize to him based on the torture that he was told to administer on him.
The same you who could have exercised a discretion not to do so, like you have done in instances you have cited, when you told your Chief of Army Staff to his face that you will not carry his instruction.
This is a coup situation. Failing to do that, Bamaiyi would have robbed me into that coup.
My Lord,
Those are his behaviors. There is no doubt. I've cataloged officers
my Lord,
who had nothing to do with that coup, and he wanted them robbed in. And I believe at that time, also, as I said, Dia deserved that treatment because he was telling lies. And later on, now, with the benefit of hindsight on all that transpired before and after our analysis, I said, if there is anything I regret, is the sending of that message. I'm a human being. I'm not infallible.
at the moment at which you allegedly carry out that instruction, Dia deserved the treatment.
As I said, with the benefit of hands at that time, because he told lies, and also I told you, even if I had not carried that instruction, General Bamaiyi had already collected the telephone number to the prison.
He deserved that treatment at that time, according to you. That's your testimony.
That is what I said.
My
But
Lord,
later on now, as I said, with the benefit of hindsight of all that happened, to unearth the involvement of Bamaiyi, I said, I regret. I said it here.
My lords, I have a humble application at this stage. There are certain other materials I need for a more prudent and exhaustive cross-examination. And I would be at this point asking for an adjournment, sir. Maybe other witnesses might testify before such a time that I'll be able to get my documents, sir.
Well, maybe you will now go and coin more diskettes.
Sir?
Go and coin more diskettes.
In your position, he said he can others cross-examine? Then can others cross-examine? Does anybody want to cross-examine? Then when he's ready, to make the witness available. Yes?
My Lord.
Let me just record that. A short adjournment.
My Lord, I will be very, very short, except that my learned colleague has urged me to apply that DS petition be designated as model award petitions.
Others have cross-examined. He's the only one who haven't cross-examined.